I'm a definite project girl. Like I love projects. Like I don't like doing the weekly, daily tasks. I'm like,
Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, right, what we like, for example, this whole podcast, right? I was like, right, let's like do this, let's set this up, let's get that working. So I get really excited to work on projects, and I can get a project whacked out in like a week if I really put my mind to it.
Yeah.
Big project. As you guys know, with the planner, the Handmade Bosses planner, I was like 3 weeks and it was done, ready on your. But for me, I find like the kind of daily tasks, weekly tasks, the stuff that you have to do every day, every week, it doesn't excite me. It doesn't excite
Yeah.
me.
It's tedious. So if you do have to do something, do the tedious stuff first. Because then if you've done like a big project and then you've still got all those horrible things to do afterwards, you're like, oh. And then the next day is going to be horrendous. So get them done first, get them out of the way, and then crack on with your project.
That sounds perfect. That sounds really, really good. So I think my next kind of tip, which I know sounds really like boring and dull, but it's to plan out your week in advance, which I know you're going to be like, yeah, I know, Steph, like whatever. But what I think is the worst thing is when you wake up on a day and you don't know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Because you end up, and I've done this many hours, many days, where you've kind of like woken up and you've got like one or two things on your list, but you know that you want to work and you have to work, but you end up like finding things to kind of like work on, and it draws you away from your goals, and you just end up kind of doing things to stay busy. And that sounds bizarre,
Yeah.
but we've all done it. We've all done it,
I
haven't
relate
we?
to that so much. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, where we just, like I said, we know that we should be working. And I don't even think it's we should be working. I think a lot of time is that we're excited to expand and scale and grow, but we don't know quite what to work on in that moment. So we end up like looking for new shiny things to work on, like, oh, let's work on like Instagram competition, even though it's not in your goal right now. I'm going to go and start working on creating glasses cases, even though I sell crochet scarves. It's
Yeah.
like all of that thing, and you end up chasing everything. And the biggest thing that I've learned over the past year is ideas are very cheap. Ideas are, everyone has good ideas. Everyone's like, oh my god, my idea is going to be the next Facebook, my idea is going to be this. Ideas are cheap, but execution is expensive. And I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing that I've learned, is that Sophie knows, I have ideas every single freaking week. I'm like, right, that's it. This is what we're going to be doing. And I just get so freaking distracted, and it is the worst. So I think that now I used to use Evernote for my calendar. Now I use Asana because I don't have like a daily list. I have things that I have to get done that week. I can tick them all off on a Monday if I want to. I could split them up,
Yeah.
do like one every day, but I try not to put pressure on myself that I have to work that day, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, I get that. I'm a big advocate for batching, but I think I get that from you though, because I never did that before I met you, and now I'm a batcher. So like yesterday, my Mondays are usually spent where I batch every Instagram post,
Yeah.
and put it into the scheduler. But I was on such a roll yesterday that I've done the rest of June. Like it's done, and
That's awesome.
that is just like, oh, what a relief, what a weight off your shoulders. So I really recommend batching.
Batching's great. What I've done is that I've extended my times out on Etsy. So I do all of my orders like first thing on a Monday. That's the first thing I do. I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. It's one of those things, do as I say, not as I do. I'm trying to wind down my shop, so it's a bit different for me, but I get all of that done Monday. And then after that, I'm like, let's do my stats for the week before. So I go back through, I look at all of the stats, and I'm like, right, okay, what's beginning to slip? What's doing really well? And then again, in the new Handmade Bosses Success Academy, which if you don't know, that's the course. In phase 3, there's a KPI sheet, which you guys can basically do the exact same thing. So I've shared my sheet with you. And I'm looking at all of the stats and I'm saying, right, okay, over the next week, what are 4 things that I have to work on to get my business rolling to where it needs to go? And in the alumni group, so in the student group on Facebook, every Monday, every Friday, we're like, what are your 4 tasks? Did you accomplish those 4 tasks? So I think that does a really good job. And just planning your week out a bit like that would really, really help, where it's like you are working on these four things. It could be 5 minutes, it could be 3. I wouldn't do any more than 5, but you have to work on these 5 things. Like, leave everything else alone. And any ideas that you have, for sure, write them down, but don't execute on them for at least a month. And let's see if you think it's such a good idea in like a month's time, because 9 times out of 10 you probably won't.
Yeah, like the amount of times I've redesigned my business cards or information flyers just because, oh, I can do that. I should be doing X, Y, and Z, but I can do that, so I'm going to do that. Yeah. It's about prioritizing though, isn't it? Like, I really love the fact that you've got 4 important things to do this week. That's a really good idea, rather than 4 things to do today.
Yes.
Because then you kind of like, the mindset is there if you don't achieve it and you're like, oh, I'm a failure. Yeah. You don't need to do something straight away, but you've got a week to, get it done. Be easy on yourself.
That is the real big thing, because I just think that having your week kind of like planned out in a loose but structured way is gonna stop you from like getting distracted and like ending up going over here and chasing this thing and chasing that. And I think that's why so many Facebook groups that I've certainly seen are so damaging, because you get 2-3 posts a day where like someone's gone, hey guys, I've just found out that testing this thing is really, really good and we should all be doing this. And then you end up doing that, and then like 2 days later someone else is posting something else, and it just ends up, you don't go all in on one thing, you just kind of half-ass basically doing like 18 other different, and that's just a recipe for just absolute disaster.
Yeah no, I love planning stuff out. If I can, I like to do it on a Sunday, just so that I know that the week ahead what's going on. And I have to have a diary. I used to do it on my phone, but I'm a bit of a sucker for pen and paper. I do love my diary.
Yeah. My handwriting is terrible, is so bad. Like, I can't even read my own writing. And I went to because one thing that I have begun to do is I've begun to like journal things out. So like, if I've got something on my mind, I kind of have a conversation with myself on paper, which sounds really weird.
Yeah.
But I realized that I haven't picked up a pen in months.
Yeah.
Like, I type everything. I'm online. That's what I do. And I was getting to the point where I was like writing out words, and I was like, I don't know how to write. Like, a little part of me was like, I don't know how to write this. That sounds bizarre, but true.
No, it's like, do you remember when you was at school and you had the 6 weeks summer holidays and you came back to school and you was writing in your book and you were like, I don't know how to use my hands.
How do I hold this thing?
Yeah, that's what it's like. So I get that completely, but I do everything. Like, cause I got my iPad and I used to write my notes really nice on my iPad. And I'm like, I miss pen and paper. I want something where I can physically do it, but yeah, I love it.
There's nothing quite like pen and paper, is there?
Yeah, it's just refreshing. Like, how times have changed. Everything is done online now, so I'm rebelling. I'm stopping it. Like, I am using a pen. Stop me.
Hey boss, did you enjoy our mini episode? You can catch the full episode on your favourite podcast app or watch it on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing conversations coming your way soon.